I've been watching the debate over Charlie Kirk's death unfold, and I've felt a mix of sadness, disappointment, and conviction. While many have expressed their sympathy and applaud Gospel Angels Broadcasting for its commentary on Charlie Kirk's death, there are others who chose to show bitterness. I feel compelled now to respond to some of the negative reactions, misrepresentations, and criticism that have surfaced against the decision of Gospel Angels Broadcasting, and many others who decided to highlight the positivity in this man's life, particularly his Sabbath observance. The tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk has stirred not only grief but also controversy. Instead of compassion, some voices have rushed to highlight his faults, past words, or political positions in an attempt to silence this resonating life testimony. He was an evangelical who was honest enough to observe the Sabbath. Folks just can't handle this truth. Among them are Christians, who should know better yet display bitterness toward the fact that Charlie openly recognized and honored the biblical Sabbath. Some have said that we are exploiting the opportunity to promote Adventist theology by pointing out that Charlie Kirk kept the Sabbath. So their preference is that in telling his story we should omit this spiritual part of his life. To these nominal Christians it seems a terrible thing to highlight a man's devotional walk with God, while at the same time they have no issue emphasizing his political affiliations. In doing so, they reveal that they place politics above the spiritual. This is a sad and telling sign of the wicked age in which we are now living. A man turning off his phone, stepping aside from worldly demands, setting apart a holy time that spoke to something deep in me. I respected that he believed truth mattered, even when controversial. It is indeed a controversial matter to many, the idea of an evangelical keeping the biblical Sabbath. I dare say that it is even an offense to many evangelicals. For such a star in the evangelical world to be keeping the hated Sabbath, it is an offense. But I firmly believe he would not have wanted his Sabbath observance left out of his story. This is something he has gone on record several times and spoken passionately about. I believed his faith journey was real, not merely political posturing. Now, when people use his ideology to justify cruelty and death, to disparage his humanity, to laugh, to say he doesn't deserve any empathy, these people have crossed over the line that separates humanity from something so deplorable that it is better off not named. Every human being is made in the image of God, even when someone errs, even when someone says things we believe are wrong. The scriptures teach respect, compassion, patience, love. Where is the Christian love that you talk about? Charlie Kirk was not a perfect man, but then again, who is? Scripture asks plainly in John 8:7, "Are you without sin?"
So every Friday night, I take a Jewish Sabbath, turn off my phone, Friday night to Saturday night. The world cannot reach me, and I get nothing from the world. It will bless you infinitely. Now, I'm not saying you're bound by the law as a Christian. I'm not saying that that's something you have to do. I'm saying it will make your life better. It was important enough that God put it as one of the 10 Commandments. And I will say, there's debate in some theological circles that we are bound to it because it predated the law. God rested after creation. So I want you to think about that.
Charlie Kirk was a growing Christian, learning, studying, and walking forward in the light he received. And at his stage of growth, he recognized a biblical truth that many who have studied the scriptures for decades still resist, the truth of the seventh-day Sabbath, rooted in creation, according to Genesis 2:2-3, enshrined in God's law according to Exodus 20:8-11, and upheld in the end-time conflict, as told in Revelation 14:12. For those who condemn him because of the Sabbath, the question must be asked, are you condemning what God commends? Is it no small thing that a young man, coming from an evangelical background, still had the courage to stand against tradition and honor God's day of rest? This type of courage reminds me of the 3 Hebrew boys in Babylon, and it reflects the stand of the faithful end-time saints who will uphold God's law. It is a striking hypocrisy that some, even within Seventh-day Adventism, are quick to reject Charlie Kirk as a Sabbath keeper, yet in the same breath will proudly claim John Harvey Kellogg, who apostatized and abandoned the faith, as one of ours. Why discredit the one who embraced truth while excusing those who rejected it? Jesus rebuked the Pharisees for such double standards. Ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law. Matthew 23:23. The criticism of Charlie Kirk exposes something deeper, the great hatred of professed Christians towards this single law of God, the Sabbath. He spoke strongly in defense of the benefits of the Sabbath, principles that harmonize with Scripture and resonate with Adventist values. Let us be reminded and never be deceived. His death was not about politics, it was an act of violence against ideals that transcend politics. A sniper's bullet tried to silence a spiritual stance. Gospel Angels condemns all forms of violence. No cause, no ideology, no grievance can justify the shedding of innocent blood. Charlie Kirk's embrace of the Sabbath is no small matter. It is evidence that God is calling people from every nation, church, and background into His truth in these last days. Adventists, that alone should inspire awe, not anger. His recognition of God's holy day, though imperfect in practice, as all of us are in our growth, places him on the side of divine truth. Those who mock that testimony should search their own hearts. Do you truly keep the Sabbath holy, or is your Sabbath only in form while your heart is far from the Lord of the Sabbath? The lesson is plain. Instead of tearing down, let us build up. Instead of despising the dead, let us honor the truth they embraced. Instead of pointing fingers, let us prepare our own souls for the judgment to come. As the Apostle Paul wrote, "Who art thou that judgest another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or falleth. Yea, he shall be holden up, for God is able to make him stand." Romans 14:4. Charlie Kirk's life was cut short, but his testimony of the Sabbath forever stands. He embraced a truth many still reject, and for that, his voice, though now silenced, still speaks. I feel his experience as a reflection of that of Abel. We are told in Hebrews 11:4, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. Truth cannot be silenced. Charlie Kirk's faith journey was real, not merely political posturing. And yes, we must call out wrong when it is wrong, to demand justice, to protect the vulnerable, but that doesn't license slander or dehumanization. We'll speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, ensure justice for those being crushed. This is what we are commanded to do in Proverbs 31:8-9. We must speak truth, both about wrong and about right. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. Matthew 7:12. Compassion, fairness, dignity, even when we disagree or disapprove. But love does no wrong to a neighbor, therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. Romans 13:10. Let us not use truth as a weapon to wound beyond what is just. Gospel Angels condemns all forms of violence, physical or verbal. No one deserves to be murdered. No true Christian will celebrate the death of another. We reject cruelty. We believe in justice, but also in mercy, truth, but also kindness. It's a fact that we all say things that deserve critique, but do you feel that you have said things that deserve your death? Where is the consistency? If one protests injustice for one life, one must protest injustice for every life. So many people have jumped on this bandwagon, masquerading their hypocrisy with great pride. In conclusion, do I believe Charlie Kirk was perfect? Not at all. Do I agree with all he said? No. But I believe his humanity demands respect. I believe his family's grief deserves compassion. I believe his Sabbath observance was genuine. And I firmly believe the quickness of some to dehumanize him after he died reflects a spiritual malaise where division, bitterness, and ideological tribalism are stronger than our commitment to Christ's standard of love. Let this moment test us, not just in what we say about him, but in what we say about others. May God grant us a heart of truth, mercy, and discernment.